Just 6 races remain until it is the postseason in the first series season for the Challenger Cup Series in 2026. And tonight, it's time for the series to take a trip to America's Heartland and the heart of Tornado Alley, where this evening, the Challenger Cup Series, part of the Challenger Racing League, will take a trip to the Kansas Speedway. In the shadow of the Hollywood Casino, the Cookie Cutter Mile and a Half is our venue tonight. We thank you so much for your attendance and welcome you inside this PGR eSports broadcast booth and another production of Challenger Cup Series Racing. My name is Dawson Wise, happy to welcome you inside the virtual Kansas Speedway tonight for what should be a night full of high-speed action and a night where drivers can return to normalcy. Over the past several weeks, we've seen road courses, we've seen super speedways. Past 2 races have been held on short tracks. Tonight, we get back to the bread and butter of this series, and that is the Cookie Cutter Mile and a Half, and a lot of drivers are ready for that return to what should be a more normal feeling race to them. Without further ado, it is time to start to get down trackside and get you ready for some racing action tonight, as 134 laps await us here at the Kansas Speedway. Drivers completing qualifying laps just a few moments ago. A couple still have yet to complete their laps over the next 10 seconds or so. But as qualifying finishes up, you'll see those cars disappear, and it's time to get on the grid for the first time here tonight from Kansas. Again, 134 laps on tap. 30 laps will be the length of stage number 1. As drivers begin to get loaded into the racetrack and onto the starting grid, let's show you how they'll line up and meet the starters for tonight's Challenger Cup Series race from Kansas. On the pole, by virtue of his quick time in the qualifying session, it's the points leader, the 30, the Fast House Chevrolet. That is Ryan Patty. Patty basically had it won last week. So we'll get that fixed. Sorry about that. Forgot to turn a couple of different audio things off tonight, but we will get that fixed and get the driver audio off with here for you all. And now we'll get into the starting grid. It is Ryan Patty on the pole. In the 30 of the Fast House Chevrolet, the points leader leaving Martinsville, leaving Bristol, although had a couple of races won over the past several weeks, was not able to capture either. Remember, back in Martinsville, he ran out of fuel. Last week at Bristol, unfortunately, not only ran out of gas, or rather did not run out of gas, but got into one of the lap cars coming off the wall and surrendered the lead in that race as well. So a couple of races where Ryan Patty could have gone to victory lane did not go his way, but he looks to get back going tonight from the pole position. His outside Cody Eldred's finished second a number of times in his career. That's where he'll start from tonight's race in Kansas on the outside of the front row. Row 2, but the qualifying effort for Brandon Beauchamp and the High Rock Chevrolet, third on the speed charts tonight for the 15. It's Harold Watkins returning to the field tonight, the black, white, and red number 3. He'll go from 4th. Row 3, it's David Traylor in the 54, second in the points coming into tonight's race in Kansas. His teammate Clinton would be alongside him in the 92, a pair of winners from this season. Traylor, a couple of wins for him in car 54. Row 4, Rusty Modesty in the 6 alongside James Catrone in the Oscar Mayer Chevy. Row 5, rounding out the top 10, it's Andrew Little in the 68. Ron Walters, a new look for him, Whitewater, aboard that 99 here tonight. Jesse Nolan makes a debut, also driving a High Rock Chevrolet. He'll go from 11th. It's Greg Bourbonier in the Miller Toyota going from the 12th spot. Jimmy Fitzmaurice goes from 13th with Stephen Rasick. A bit of a new look on his car. Stars and Stripes aboard that Miller Lite Ford Mustang. Row 8, Steve Potter in the Haviland Chevy. Mike Martino in the all-green Chevrolet. Matt Aiden was not able to post a time. He'll go from 17th. Brian Cunningham in the 18th spot rounds out the field tonight. Apologies for that audio blip. I know I didn't even have race audio on yet, so you could not hear it, but I could. I could hear the driver chat in the background. Obviously don't want that to be picked up on the broadcast. 134 laps on tap tonight in America's Heartland. Green flag is in the air. We're racing from Kansas. Surprise here, the points leader leads the opening lap. Ryan Patty away with the lead over Brandon Beauchamp, his most impressive qualifying effort to date in this series, and he runs just a car length behind the leader off turn 2 after he was able to capture the second spot from Cody Eldred, who is going backwards. Eldred challenged by Watkins, this for 5th, as he goes the wrong direction. Modesty already +3, Traylor +2, Andrew Little +2, Matt Hayden +3 further back in the Oakley Chevy the 5. Patty leads over Beauchamp, but it's not by much. We'll keep it up front. The High Rock Chevrolet of Brandon Beauchamp has some speed under that Chevrolet here tonight as he follows Patty into turn 1, a half car length off the back bumper of that. Black, white, and a neon yellow number 30. That is the points leader. Patty, a multi-time winner here in 2026. Beauchamp has yet to win in Challenger Cup Series competition, but boy, does he have some short-run pace under that car tonight. Traylor in behind him, second in the points, trailing only Ryan Patty. The rate we're going, the gap will be too much to overcome. Patty continues to run well, but races like he had last week in Bristol open the door for a guy like David Traylor to steal away a regular season title from Patty and that coveted first seed in the Challenger Cup Series chase coming up here in just 6 weeks. Beauchamp at the bottom, Patty about a half lane off the bottom. Further back, Eldred on the wall, the first car really to run up in Kyle Larson territory. Beauchamp, gets the wall there off turn 4. Eldred challenged by Andrew Little. 26 laps to go here in stage 1. Patty back to turn 1. He'll dive all the way to the bottom. He'll slowly arc it down now about a full lane off the bottom. Beauchamp right on the white line. Traylor, Modesty both about a lane off the bottom. Every one of the top 5 cars runs down to the bottom side of the racetrack as they run back towards turn 3. Now they all run single file. Eldred will follow Watkins into the corner, but he will run about a lane off the bottom, as will most of the leaders. Modesty down to the bottom. Beauchamp to the top side. Beauchamp tries the rail run. He'll get challenged for a second here by Traylor. Beauchamp way up on the white line. Traylor down on the apron. You'll see a lot of drivers tonight that will cut the apron as they do in real life. A lot of guys will go down there. It does cut your time a little bit there on that front straightaway. Traylor uses it to his advantage, gets past Beauchamp. Modesty also passes Beauchamp, who's going to crash. Beauchamp's around the 15, into the wall. Little gets a piece of him. The green flag stays out for now. Andrew Little going backwards. He's got big damage. Now they're going to crash again. It's Walters and Beauchamp, and that will draw the caution as Walters comes back up. Bourbonier's in it. Brian Cunningham is in it as well. Others trying to avoid as they continue to crash further up. Beauchamp, Bourbonier, Brian Cunningham, Ron Walters. The cars involved. Martino appears to have gotten through it, as did Stephen Racing. This really got started way further back with Brandon Beauchamp long before the caution ever came out. We're actually going to go way back and show you what initially kicked off this incident, which was Beauchamp having some struggle here off turn 2. You see him get loose over correct. Almost gets Watkins, although he did give him some damage there. We'll have to see that. Little gets big damage there on the front end of his Chevrolet as he gets the wall. Beauchamp down to the apron, then comes back up. Ron Walters loose on entry, I'd imagine distracted a little bit by the Beauchamp machine on the apron, trying to avoid him. Walters comes back up and gets clobbered, not only by Brian Cunningham, but by Greg Bourbonier, and all 4 of those cars come to rest in turn 4. Major damage. Man, Walters almost gets up and over, trying to get off of the banking and move back forward. Let's get another look at it here. This is following the Beauchamp contact with Watkins. This is what actually drew the caution flag, as Walters and Beauchamp come together in 3. Now watch as Walters comes back up. You see Beauchamp locks down the brakes there on the inside lane, right on that white paint. Walters overcorrects, comes back up, and there's just nowhere for these guys to go. Bourbonier clips the 99. He'll get the wall. Big damage on his car. Brian Cunningham, nowhere for him to go as he piles into this thing as well. Now I think these other couple of cars that came along afterwards, you see Martino there, almost got a piece, as did Rasic, but I think that both of those cars were able to miss it. You see Cunningham come back up, actually collects Bourbonier a second time, but Martino able to get past it, Rasic able to get past it, although by the skin of their teeth. They both are able to advance forward to stay out of the crash and continue on in this race, at least for the time being. So that's what draws the first caution flag of the night, just about 8 laps in here at Kansas. So you'd imagine this race would get into a bit of a long green flag run. It looked like it was going to right there. But again, this next-gen car got a bit of an update a few weeks back, and the grip levels are definitely worse. We've seen some aerodynamics changes, of course, with NASCAR updating their rules package this year. Challenger Cup Series will follow the iRacing Sim, which naturally has updated their parameters for this car also. It's made it harder to drive, and harder to save, notably, at least in the experience that I've gotten from watching guys drive this car and from getting to be behind the wheel myself. It's a little bit harder to drive, a little bit harder to save, and it was already hard to save, but to me it's even harder now than it was before. So an early incident cleaned off the racetrack. Lap 9 on the board, lap 10 about to go on the board. 125 laps remain at Kansas. It is still Ryan Patty that leads the way over David Traylor. Then it's Rusty Modesty and Harold Watkins on row 2. Cody Eldred and Clinton Woodby now on row 3. Then you'll find the debuting Nolan alongside Matt Hayden. That's row 4. And then Steve Potter and Jimmy Fitzmaurice are back on row 5. So a couple of cars inside the top 10 end up losing some laps. Brian Cunningham, in fact, loses 2 of them. He's actually the only car that lost laps there. Walters, Beauchamp, Bourbonier able to continue on and stay on the lead lap, although I believe all 3 have opted for their fast repairs early. You see Bourbonier definitely has, Beauchamp also definitely has, and Ron Walters, it appears, have all opted for their 1 fast repairs. They'll have to keep it out of trouble the rest of the night. 10 laps in the books, a lot more still to go. Green flag back in the air, 21 to go in stage 1. Patty off and running. Trailer trying to time it up, couldn't do it. Patty away by a car length and a half on the bottom. Trailer starting to fade down towards that bottom lane, which seems to be where these guys want to live at least early in a run. Watkins would be in the middle, Hayden to the fence line as he tries the penthouse in turns 1 and 2. Shades of his number sake, Kyle Larson in the 5. Moving up to the outside was Matt Hayden. The field works back to turn 3. As Ryan Patty continues to lead the way for the time being. This time David Traylor will challenge him on the short run. Watkins up to 3rd, by the way. Watch out for him, a guy who was perennially a contender at mile and a halfs last year across both seasons of 2025. Watkins, one of the best on mile and a halfs in terms of saving his equipment as well and being a long run car. We'll see what the 3 has under the hood here this evening. Matt Hayden alongside Cody Eldred. That would be for 6. Matt Hayden's on the move. Up 11 spots in the 6th spot for the Oakley Chevy in the 5. Everybody running the bottom right now. 19 to go in stage 1. The battle for 3rd is on. Clinton Woodby to the inside. The Daytona winner fighting for 3rd against Harold Watkins. He'll gain the spot into turn 1. Not quite clear. Modesty follows him through on the bottom. Watkins still about 2 lanes up on the 2nd seam. A lane off the wall. Modesty under him now, that's for 4th. Hayden slides on the nose of Eldred. Right to the wall goes the 5. He clears up off of turn 2. He's now in the 6th spot solidly. Patty away by half a car length, but not much more than that. Trailer in his tire tracks. Not much dirty air wash on these mile and a halfs as compared to some other places. There is still aero blocking. You will still see it tonight. You will see air become a problem, but so far, not really affecting David Traylor, who continues, though, to peek a headlight out to the bottom of the racetrack. Traylor to the paint. Patty about a half a lane off of it. Would-be in their tire tracks, about a car length off the back bumper of Traylor. Then it's a battle for fourth with Rusty Modesty against Harold Watkins. Modesty on the inside. Watkins, power move. He'll maintain the spot, continuing to run that middle lane, which is slower through the center, but seems to be a little bit better on exit this time. Modesty a much better corner through turn 4. He wants fourth as they continue not to trade positions up front, but run 1, 2, 3. Hayden up the outside of Eldred as Eldred tries to maintain the spot. Into the high rent district. He'll try the rail run as Jesse Nolan watches on from 8th. Watkins on the outside of Modesty. That continues to be the battle for third, but we got to go up front. David Traylor to the inside of Ryan Patty. This for the lead. Traylor on the inside. Patty down tight to side draft in the 30. He will pinch the 54 down. Restrict how much that car can move and rotate through the center of the corner. They'll run side by side. They'll drag race at the start-finish line. Give the lead to David Traylor by 6 1/1000ths of a second. Shades the Kyle Larson, Chris Buescher finish a couple of years ago here at Kansas. Patty to the fence. He's going to run in Kyle Larson, Tyler Reddick, Christopher Bell territory. He'll get the run off the corner and re-inherit the lead here down the back straightaway, but they'll continue to drag race. Would-be watches on. By the way, these three have driven away from Rusty Modesty by 1 second, as Modesty was able to capture that fourth position from Harold Watkins. Now Watkins under fire from Eldred again. That's for fifth. Matt Hayden watches on from the 7th spot. James Catrone has passed Jesse Nolan. That is for the 8th position, just behind these guys in a bit of a hornet's nest. Traylor still on the inside. They continue to be side by side for the lead. Traylor all the way to the paint. Patty up on the fence. Traylor trying to slide job off 2. Gets a little bit loose. Can't keep the car out of the fence. May have gotten it a little bit there. Patty with a crossover. Back to the bottom comes the Fast House Chevrolet. Now he's in his preferred lane. He'll re-inherit the lead. Traylor gets the rail run. He wants to run off the outside. Can he cross over Ryan Patty again? No, he cannot. Although he'll be right on his back bumper here down the front straightaway. Nose to tail. 14 to go, stage 1. Modesty watches from 4th as Would-be's in the popcorn seat for this one. 3rd, best seat on the house for this battle for the lead that continues to rage on. Modesty still a second back. Would-be not gaining much from 3rd. Then it's a battle between Eldred and Watkins as Catrone gets the wall further back. James Catrone into the outside wall. He's challenged now by Andrew Little, who's come on strong here in this second run. Remember, was involved in that incident as well. Here's he has opted for the fast repair in the 68, the Waterford Concepts Chevy. He's back up to the 8th position. Started 9th, dropped to the back, all the way back up to 8 plus 1 for Andrew Little as he and Catrone drag race down the front straightaway. 13 to go. Little in the high rent district. Eldred is up that way as well. Nolan in the center. Catrone on the bottom. Hayden on the bottom. Watkins on the bottom, and the leaders continuing to run on the paint as well. Catrone will have to slide in right behind Andrew Little. Little maintains the 8th spot, and Andrew Little's the man on the move now. Catrone in the middle. Trying to get something drummed up in that middle lane in that Oscar Mayer Chevrolet, but Little's got a lot of speed underneath that car. Watkins starts to catch, or rather, Hayden starts to catch Watkins. That would be for 6th if he can get there before the end of the stage. 12 to go. Ryan Patty continues to be about a couple of car lengths ahead of David Traylor. Would-be, though, has reeled these two in just a little bit. About 4.5 tenths back to him. 9 tenths back to Rusty Modesty, who's picked up a little bit as well. Not as much gain for Cody Eldred in the 5th spot. In the 14, but still in position to grab some stage points. Patty's starting to drive away now, though. 6, 8, 9 car lengths. Now the gap between him and David Traylor. Did Traylor burn his stuff up? Patty 4 tenths ahead now as Would-be attacks his teammate. That's for 2nd. The Daytona winner on the Atlanta and Martinsville winner in David Traylor, a 2-time winner here in 2026. As they work back into turn 3. Would-be to the inside again. Traylor down to pinch. No dice for Would-be. Starts to drift up. Almost some contact there between those two. It was a little bit close off turn 4. That's going to allow Would-be actually to stay alongside. Traylor may have gotten a little bit tight on the exit of turn number 4. Traylor continues to run on the outside. He actually runs to the middle. Now comes right down to the door of Would-be, who tried to rotate through the center of the corner. And Traylor says, no, sir. Slams the door right in his face. And Would-be is going to have to resort to jump in line. Traylor continues to run the outside lane. Again up by that second seam, but again he'll start to kind of run down through the center of the corner. This time he allows Would-be to rotate the center of turn 4, and Clinton Would-be goes to 2nd. Now he's the man chasing Ryan Patty. Traylor now under fire from Rusty Modesty from about 5 car lengths back. By the way, Cody Eldred, Matt Hayden, and Andrew Little have all gone by the Harold Watkins car, who appears to have had some sort of problem with 9 laps to go in stage 1. Although from here, it does not appear that he has any visual damage on that 3 car. Just not up to pace right now is the 3. We'll see if in the longer second stage, if that changes for the Watkins car. We continue to watch on with the battle for second for the time being. Rusty Modesty, by the way, is closed in on this battle for second. We'll see if it becomes a 3-car battle here in just a moment. So go back to the battle for sixth in a moment, with this being for stage points. Obviously, want to keep it here. The guys that will continue to race for stage points. Ryan Patty, by the way, driving away 7/10 now the lead. It's 15, 16 car lengths between those 2 cars. But Woodby trying to hold off his teammate David Traylor, although now Woodby running really good lap times over, especially in turns 3 and 4. He's really good on this end of the racetrack at not really running a diamond. He's not getting up far enough to consider it a diamond on entry. But he really has good center-off speed in that 92 right now as he continues to run the bottom of the racetrack. Patty down by the paint as well. Traylor has experimented a little bit with his line, but now has migrated back to the bottom. Rusty Modesty continues to run down there as well. Cody Eldred, I think, is the first one that really is experimenting with his line. Nope, he'll drop to the bottom in turns 3 and 4 as well. Little about a lane off the bottom, so he's moving around. Matt Hayden's gotten by Harold Watkins solidly now. That's for 7th as Jesse Nolan's going to put the 3 under attack. 6 to go, stage 1. Little now goes to the fence. The first guy is here in this late run to go to the wall. Looked like perhaps the Cody Eldred car did as well. Let's go up here. Matt Hayden catching Andrew Little. This would be for the 6th position, just outside of the stage points. Actually, we're going to go up just a little bit further. Rusty Modesty running down a fading David Traylor, who appears to have burned the Goodyear Eagles off this 54. Woodby is actually starting to run down Ryan Patty just a little bit here on the long run as well. That gap's down to half a second. So we'll keep it here and watch a couple of these battles. 5 to go, stage 1. If you're just joining us, Challenger Cup Series action from the Kansas Speedway live on PGR eSports. Ryan Patty's led all 26 to this point. Clinton Woodby, half a second back. He experimented a little bit right there. If you saw that, 4 to go here, stage 1. He experiments a little bit. We're going to go back up front because Woodby is starting to gain some ground here on Ryan Patty by running that middle lane. Let's see if it pays any dividend for him here in turns 1 and 2. Really good turns 1 and 2 for Ryan Patty, and he pulls back away by 2 more tenths. That may be all she wrote for the stage battle, but still a long ways to go in this race. And obviously, Ryan Patty was better than the field at Bristol, and it did not matter. Big turns 3 and 4 for Modesty. The battle for the 3rd spot is on. Modesty will choose the outside lane for now, although he'll have to cut the apron to keep up with the 54 here, who goes all the way to the white line by the grass. Looks a headlight out, runs the same line as David Traylor. Further back, Eldred to the fence, Little to the fence. Matt Hayden may have been up there as well. Nope, Matt Hayden ran a little bit lower. Still trying to attack Andrew Little for 6th. We keep it on the battle for the 3rd spot for now. Modesty continues to run right in the tire tracks of David Traylor. A little bit surprised, but he's been very good on this end of the racetrack. Has Modesty. This is Clinton Woodby. Both cars down to the white line again, right by that grass. 2 laps to go in stage number 1. Already 29 laps complete of 134. 106 to go in the race. 2 to go in the stage. Another big corner there for Modesty. He's going to have a look at it here. Which way does he go? Tried to pick a headlight to the right. Tried to get to the outside. Can't do it. Will he jump back to the inside here? Yeah, he's going to continue to run the same line as David Traylor. That arrow wash drops him back to a couple of car lengths back. He may have one more shot at it as Patty drives away. 3 more tenths added to the gap. It's 7/10 of a second. 1 more lap in stage number 1. One that started with an early caution. We've had no incidents since then. Eldred to the fence. He's getting attacked by Andrew Little. Don't think Little's going to get there quite in time to make a pass, although he might down here in turns 3 and 4. We'll head back up front. Barring a pass here for the 3rd spot, which we might get. Modesty to the inside, big 3 and 4. He'll make the pass off turn 4. That's for 3rd. Ryan Patty, wire to wire. He wins stage 1. Woodby 2nd. Then Modesty up to 3rd. About at +4 for him. David Traylor 4th. Cody Eldred does pick up stage points in the 5th spot. But it's Patty that goes wire to wire. Yes, he wins stage 1 at the Kansas Speedway. Fast and furious after that first caution. We ran over 20 laps green. I imagine an omen for the remainder of this race. If this race gets into a green flag run, we'll have to talk about green flag pit stops for the first time in several weeks. But Patty wins the opening stage and captures all 5 stage points, extending his points lead. With just 5 weeks to go in the season after tonight, it's unlikely it's a points lead he will give up heading into the chase, but a lot of wild cards coming up. Watkins Glen, Talladega, both on the horizon still, so a lot can happen not only tonight, but in the next 5 weeks or so. Second caution flag of the night is out. It is the conclusion of Stage 1 at Kansas Speedway. We are going to head to a quick commercial break. You won't miss a thing. We're going to go side by side as we continue on from Kansas Speedway. We'll be right back for the conclusion of Challenger Cup Series racing from the Heartland. Patty wins Stage 1. We're back for the final 100 laps from Kansas after this.
Green flag is in the air. We are racing. Three by three. Almost no trouble. Around goes Alex Hill. On into the outside wall goes Hill. They're wrecking big time out back. We're not going to throw a caution. Finish. Who gets it in the line? Cody Nagels wins it at Talladega.
Have created our own drink company. The fastest growing sports drink in history.
We will run! We will run! Ladies and gentlemen, we got paddles.
The monkey has pride!
This season, we are hydrated.
The official sports drink of the UFC. It's time!
Oh, that's good.
I played a couple of simulators and this was like very responsive, especially the hydraulics and stuff, the motion and stuff was really, really on point.
But you feel like you're really driving, it feels real.
It adds so much to the experience. It's just really, really cool.
It was pretty awesome.
Welcome back to Kansas Speedway. The conclusion of the Challenger Cup Series Season 1 Race 9 of 2026 is upcoming. 101 laps to go. No, it actually will be an even 100 laps to go from Kansas. 34 will be in the books as this restart goes to green on lap 35. Ryan Patty's led all of them so far. Looking to continue on and get another victory here in 2026. Green flag, he's off and running. Would-be timed it up decently well on the outside. Not enough to stay with the leader, though, and it's a 3-car length lead for Patty working back towards turn 1. Patty right to the bottom. Would-be trying to clear. Eldred is actually going to get split both ways. Would-be in the center of 3 wide. Eldred on the bottom. Little trying to get to the fence. Modesty through the center. Trying to make the save. One car's in the wall out back. It was Nolan. He gets turned by Fitzmaurice. This may not draw the caution flag. They're both on the apron for now. Fitzmaurice works back up, and now it will draw the yellow. Oh, Fitzmaurice and Nolan bring out the second yellow of the day. Originally, I thought this was going to be left green with both cars staying on the apron. Let's actually go back a little bit further. It looked like Nolan had the same problem that Rusty Modesty just did as we watched live. Yep, he gets loose, overcorrects, gets the outside wall. Same thing we saw happen a little earlier as well. to the Brandon Beauchamp machine, ironically, to bring out the first caution flag. Nolan happens it happened there, collects Fitzmaurice. Nothing Jimmy Fitzmaurice really could have done. And again, right here, I'm thinking this race is going to stay green, but as these cars slide back up to the racing surface, obviously the caution has to be displayed as they're working back onto the active racetrack. So no surprise there that race control decides to throw the caution right about here as that 33 slides back up, and there are still cars coming. So you do have to throw the caution, and race control quick to do so as they work back up into the racing groove. One more angle of it. Again, a two-car incident here off turn 2. You see Nolan gets loose, comes back down. Nothing Jimmy Fitzmaurice can do. He was holding his line. In fact, he was actually working down, trying to give Jesse Nolan a route to not have that happen, but unfortunately both cars get collected. Now, not big damage to either of them. We'll have to check, obviously, the right front of Jesse Nolan's car, but for Fitzmaurice, not a bunch of damage on his Genesee Chevrolet, just flat-spotted the tires on that car, although he does continue to sit on pit road for the time being. Ryan Patty continues to lead over Clinton Woodby, Cody Eldred, David Traylor, and Andrew Little. Rest of the top 10. Rusty Modesty in 6th, Matt Hayden in 7th. James Catrone is 8th, Harold Watkins is 9th. Stephen Rasick is in the top 10 for the first time here tonight. Tell you what the schedule ahead is going to be for the Challenger Cup Series headed forward from here. Of course, next week we head to my favorite track on the circuit, a place I'll actually be at this weekend, as the real-life Cup Series and O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, as well as the ARCA Menards Series, head to Eastern Alabama and Talladega Super Speedway. Of course, next Tuesday, that's going to be our host site for Challenger Cup Series racing. After that, a trip to Texas Motor Speedway, back to the Cookie Cutters, 160 laps at Texas. That one should be pretty fun. As well, Watkins Glen follows that, another trip to the lefts and rights on May the 12th. Then it's Dover on May 19th. And Charlotte on May 26th that will wrap up the regular season. The 5-race chase in Season 1. Nashville will open us up on June the 2nd, followed by trips to Michigan, Pocono, Twin Ring, Motegi, and Sonoma. That will wrap up Season 1 of the Challenger Cup Series. Season 2 gets underway at Chicagoland on July 7th. Welcome back, Chicagoland, by the way. NASCAR testing there today with both the Cup Series cars and the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series cars. A cool site, a packed grandstand as well. A ton of people attending at Chicagoland test. Excitement for that track to be back in place, of course, of the Chicago Street Course right around that July 4th weekend. Chicagoland is back. Racing is back in Joliet. Fans showed up and showed out. Today's NASCAR went back and tire tested at Chicagoland. First racing at that facility since 2019. Challenger Cup Series makes its first trip to Chicagoland on July the 7th. That will open up Season 2. Business to be attended to tonight. Here at Kansas, Ryan Patty, Clinton Woodby lead the field off turn number 4. Caution number 3 cleaned off the racetrack. Let's try this again, shall we? Lap 39 on the board, 96 to go. Green flag in the air. And away goes the field towards turn 1. Everyone rolls nicely. Patty away by 3 car lengths. Woodby getting pushed by Traylor. Modesty thought about the center. Goes all the way to the bottom. Andrew Little's the one to think about 3 wide. So they're working to turn number 1. Not able to make anything really happen there in the 68. Patty's away by 6 car lengths on this opening start. Battles for second. We'll go back there. Eldred on the inside. Woodby on the outside. Traylor a lane higher than the 92. Modesty a lane off the bottom. James Catrone thinking about the center in the 38, the Oscar Mayer Chevy. They will work 3 wide off turn 4. Oh boy, some contact there. Little and Catrone got together. Little gets away, and on the apron, and to the inside of David Traylor as Matt Hayden follows in his tire tracks. The car jumping to the inside. I think that was Watkins. He tries to call the 5-3. Meanwhile, for second, Rusty Modesty to the inside of Cody Eldred. Modesty trying to make up for the fuel race strategy, the field strategy rather, that did not work out in the race back at Martinsville Speedway 3 weeks ago. Modesty trying to make up for it. A little contact there with he and Eldred. Almost got the 6 out of shape. Almost identical to what happened to him earlier in the race, and he'll lose 1 spot to Eldred, 2 to Woodby, maybe 3 to David Traylor as he gets put 3 wide through the center and going backwards. He's going to try to rally through the center. Is the 6. He's got a lot of raw speed. Got to take it somewhere here. Chooses to lift. A smart option there. Hayden to the inside, a little right behind them. Little got the rail run. He's going to get to the outside of Rusty Modesty. Meanwhile, up front, battle for the lead. Eldred to the inside of Ryan Patty. He says, I don't want to be the Challenger Cup Series Sheldon Creed anymore. Cody Eldred powers to the race lead off turn 4, 93 to go. Patty looking right back for the lead, right back to the bottom as Eldred runs the fence. Trailer to the inside of Woodby, by the way, that's for third right behind him. Drag race off turn 2, the 30. Power move to the inside. He says, I don't care how fast the fence is. I'm going to jump right to the inside and try to get the lead back. Eldred runs the second seam. Patty runs all the way down on the white paint. Patty drifting up just a little bit. Eldred trying to use that rail run speed to stay alongside the 30. It will not work. Back to the lead goes Ryan Patty. Can he clear up here into 1? Not quite. Eldred will maintain the spot alongside him, while Woodby and Trailer continue to battle for the third spot. Andrew Little's worked his way into this conversation now. He's to the outside of Rusty Modesty. Harold Watkins is in this conversation as well. He's up to 7th, right around the James Catrone and Matt Hayden cars. Eldred and Patty continue to battle. Patty a half lane off the bottom, now goes all the way down to the paint. Eldred runs a lane lower that time in the middle. Not enough. Patty powers back to the lead, and he's back out front by a car length. Trailer now attacks Eldred for second as Woodby's on his bumper for third. Back to turn 1. 91 to go. Eldred back way up to the penthouse. Trailer on the paint. That's been the faster way around so far. 54 gets a little bit loose on the exit of turn 2, though. Eldred will maintain that fence line run. He'll continue to maintain the second spot for the time being, but now Trailer to his inside. That's for P2, as Woodby looks for P3 along with them. Andrew Little all of a sudden is powered forward to 5th. By the way, in the 68, he's got a lot of speed under his car as well. Trailer to the inside of Cody Eldred. He wants second. He'll get it here into turn 1. Would be a lane lower than Trailer. He wanted both of those spots there in turns 1 and 2, but can't do it. Trailer power move off turn 2. He's back to second. Eldred drifts back to third, a car length on the bumper of Trailer, making a half here into turn 3. And now Eldred goes back to the bottom as Trailer drives it in deep, a car length off the bumper of Ryan Patty. Modesty's on the fence further back. That's 7th in line. Is the 6. He gets the wall big time off turn 4. He'll lose another spot to James Catrone. He might lose 2. Matt Hayden may get by him as well by the time they get back to turn 1. Patty now runs the middle, drifts down to the first seam. Trailer ran all the way down on the paint. Interesting there that Patty changed up his line a little bit, and it worked for him. 2 car length lead now off turn 2 and back to 3. And he'll do it again here in turns 3 and 4. Slow drift down to that white paint. And it continues to pay dividends for now. Trailer back to 2.5 car lengths back. Eldred 6 car lengths back of that battle for the lead. Woodby in his tire tracks. Andrew Little the first one to really experiment with his line. Watkins, by the way, is up to 6 now with the misfortune to Rusty Modesty a moment ago. Eldred to the fence. Catrone to the fence. A couple of other cars trying to get up in the high rent district now. 88, make it 87 to go at the line when they get back. Patty drifts down, throws a little bit of dirty air across the nose of the QH Studio 54. Eldred runs in the 3rd spot. Battle is on, it appears, for the 4th position. Andrew Little and Clinton Woodby. This would be for 4th, no pun intended. Andrew Little can make the pass, although he abandons the outside lane. He had been running up on the wall, decides to run the bottom side through 1 and 2 that time. Watkins follows in his tire tracks. And this time Little looks a lane higher, peeks the headlight out to the right instead of the left. Watkins has to try to find clean air somewhere, as Hayden's underneath Catrone. That is for the 7th spot. Matt Hayden continues his comeback train, plus 9 for him in the race. Of course, did not lay down a qualifying time. Woodby way down to the bottom on Eldred. He wants 3rd. Can't do it. And Little's actually going to poke his nose in. That's for the 4th spot. Harold Watkins has some mid-race pace all of a sudden. As Woodby gets past on the outside, Little really making that outside lane work. He'll go to work now on the Eldred car. Hayden got the wall big time there off of turn 4. He'll lose some ground on this battle and fall in the clutches of Rusty Modesty and James Catrone. By the way, Ryan Patty continues to lead David Trailer by about 3 car lengths up front. If it gets any closer than that, we will head to that battle. Eldred back by Woodby, Little by Woodby. Now that, again, is for 4. Just can't complete the pass. Watkins kind of splitting the difference, running the middle, then drifting down the bottom of the Callaway Chevy as Matt Hayden tries to play catch-up again just behind these guys in the 7th spot. Back to turn 1. Woodby continues to battle back on Andrew Little. This, again, continues to be for the 4th spot. Occasionally it's for the 3rd spot as Woodby gets a nice drive off and will clear up in front of Andrew Little. Watkins now attacks him. That would be for 5th. And now Woodby can turn his entire attention over to Cody Eldred. Now Woodby can focus forward on third. David Traylor continues to keep it relatively close. Patty has opened up about another half car length, but David Traylor is keeping him honest as you will right now. 83 to go. Lap 67, the halfway point. About 16 laps from now. Woodby back to the bottom. Eldred continues to stay loyal to that top side of the racetrack. Woodby, though, powers through turns 3 and 4. Just gets a better rotation than Eldred does and goes all the way past him for third. So move Clinton Woodby up to the third spot. Andrew Little now attacks for fourth as Eldred tries the fence again. It's not worked for him really quite yet. I don't think the tires are old enough for it to make that much of a difference. Woodby, I think, provided the best visual evidence of that right there as he drove away by 4 car lengths on Eldred in turns 1 and 2. We'll go back and watch the battle for fourth as Andrew Little tries to get back on the move. He's actually going to lean to the outside of Cody Eldred, who will throw the block. Rightfully so there into one. Little has to run a lane down, has to lift out a little bit. Watkins trying to get one for free on the bottom side of the racetrack, can't do it. Little gets a really nice drive through 1 and 2. We'll get alongside the 14. This is for fourth. Turns 3 and 4. Eldred running the top up by that second seat. That's where its right side tires are. Little all the way to the white paint on the bottom. And give the spot to Andrew Little. Now Watkins on by Eldred. This is for fifth. Eldred's going to lose a number of spots. He may lose 6 here to Matt Hayden, so we'll keep it here for the time being as well. Matt Hayden to the inside. That's for 6. Matt Hayden, the car to watch here in the 5. Running the best lap times on track right now. He's not far off the leaders, but on the move for sure in the 5. Up 10 spots. It'll be 11 when he completes this pass on Cody Eldred. Real other battles on the racetrack to report as of right now. This is really the only one, and I think Hayden's going to complete the pass right here in turns 1 and 2. Although Eldred battles back. I stand corrected. Rim ride is effective for Eldred. He goes right back on pass. Now the battle's for fourth between Watkins and Andrew Little. Ryan Patty has opened up, by the way, a 7.5-10 lead over Traylor and the remainder of the field. We are 10 laps away from halfway. Eldred all the way to the fence, got too close to the sun, actually got the fence there in turns 1 and 2. Again, he'll get attacked by Matt Hayden. Again, that continues to be for the 6th spot. Woodby might get to David Traylor here in a moment. Let's start watching lap times, shall we? With about 75, well, it's a little more than 75 laps to go last time by. Woodby, Little, Watkins on par with the leader. Nobody else was within a 10th. This battle has cooled off just a little bit. This one, I think, is starting to heat up, though, the battle for second. Patty away by 0.8 of a second. Let's see what the gap is that time by. Patty at 31 flat. Fastest car on track was actually Clinton Woodby in the 92, who ran 0.2 faster than the leader. And last time by. Loses that top, gets a big run down the long back straightaway. Where does he go in turns 3 and 4? He goes back to the top side, Trailer all the way down. Half lane off the bottom, puts the lefts now down by the paint. Woodby's going to get a big rail run. Trailer to block. Where does Woodby take this momentum? He actually may have lifted there off turn 4 instead of trying to cross over. So big picture racing for Woodby. 75 to go at the line. Again, just 8 laps short of halfway. Woodby again goes to the fence. Again, he'll get that rim run off turn 2. Crossover. To the inside comes Woodby. The run brings him all the way alongside. He'll dive deep into turn 3 and slide up in front of David Traylor, who likely will try the crossover here. Off turn 4, he'll do just that. Traylor back to the inside, although he will push Clinton Woodby down the front straightaway. Now leans to his outside. And Woodby, I imagine, will go back to the fence, and he will. Trailer trying to get back to the inside of Woodby for second. Not quite able to there. Woodby has to run the bottom to really be on par with time with Ryan Patty. And even then, right there, he ran the bottom in 3 and 4, and it did not work. So these two continue to experiment, move around, see Woodby really going to marry himself to the bottom of the racetrack as he starts to drive away a little bit from Trailer, but is losing ground continually to Ryan Patty. 72 laps to go with the line. Again, 5 laps short of halfway. Andrew Little settled in 4th, pulled away from Harold Watkins, who rides 5th. Matt Hayden has settled in 6th. Cody Eldred is 7th. Then it's Catrone, Rusty Modesty, who has found himself way back in 9th. Brandon Beauchamp climbs back into the top 10 for the first time since his incident early in the 10th spot. Mike Martino way off the pace, so is Steve Potter. Brian Cunningham, the only car 1 lap down. Another caution would benefit him greatly. Andrew Little's on the run now in the 68. As he has started to work the fence in a late run, it's really come to life for him as he runs down David Trailer, so we'll keep it here. Continue to watch the developing battle for what would be the 3rd spot. Ryan Patty continuing to drive away for the time being. 3 laps short of halfway at the line, 65 on the board. 70 laps to go at the line. Only 9:19 p.m. on the East Coast. This one set to be done in a short order here at the rate we are going right now. Trailer catches a lap car at a bad spot. Has to lift. Little gets underneath him because of it and may just carry the momentum all the way to the 3rd spot. Trailer down to side draft. Little trying to throw the slider. Throws it on the nose of the 54 of Trailer. Trailer back underneath, trying to cross over. Can't do it. Move Andrew Little to 3rd. How about it? If you're Andrew Little right now, 31:11 for the leader, 31:14 for Little, 31:08 for Woodby. Nobody really faster than the leader that time by. David Trailer falling off big time, by the way, 31:38 for him. Watkins is actually running him down at a record pace now as well. He's up in the 5th spot trying to chase 4th. Not much gain either way here for anybody in front of the field. At the line, 1 lap short of halfway, 68 to go. Again, next time by, we'll mark the halfway point. Watkins attacks Trailer for the 4th spot as Patty continues to drive away. Another dominant effort for him today. So far, had a dominant effort going at Bristol as well. We know how that one turned out. Patty by 1.3, halfway at Kansas. If you're just joining us, Challenger Cup Series Race 9 of Season 1 here in 2026 at the Kansas Speedway. Ryan Patty continues to lead the way. You watch what was a battle for 3rd. It's not a battle anymore. And pit stops. Andrew Little's the first to dive off the racetrack and come to pit road. Matt Hayden's going to bring his car to pit road. Cody Eldred is also going to come to pit road. Let the pit stops begin here at Kansas. Did have some extra tire sets tonight. Goodyear rubber appears to be making some difference. Best lap of the race for Patty is a 30.14. His last lap was a 31.07. About 9/10 of fall off for him. More fall off for other guys. David Trailer's fallen off a 1.5 seconds. Patty down to speed. Got to get in without a penalty. He's awfully quick on the approach, but appears to have gotten that car down to speed, as did Clinton Woodby, who will follow him in, although Woodby did gain quite a bit of ground right there, it appears, on entry. Brandon Beauchamp's on pit road. Jimmy Fitzmaurice, Brian Cunningham also coming to pit road. Greg Bourbonier is coming to pit road. A number of cars coming off of pit road here. Curious to me where Andrew Little will land in this compared to Ryan Patty. We'll see if he was able to make it happen for the lead. David Trailer, you'd imagine these guys would come this time. Trailer's coming to pit road, almost spinning wheel spin. Trailer on entry to pit road, spins it, makes the save. No, now spins back to his right in front of Watkins. Single car spin. Catrone gets into him. Trailer as they crash on pit road. Devastation for both James Catrone and David Trailer. Rusty Modesty, Steven Rasick also on pit road this time around. Jesse Nolan, Ron Walters, the only cars to stay on the racetrack. Andrew Little has passed up Clinton Woodby. He will not pass the Ryan Patty car, although he will be right on his back bumper, so we will keep it here. Because a battle for the provisional lead. With 63 to go in Kansas, are we brewing another classic? We've had back-to-back really great finishes at both Martinsville and Bristol. Are we brewing another one here in Kansas? Watkins gets passed up on pit road, as does Potter. Ron Walters coming to pit road this time by Jesse Nolan. Still has yet to pit in his car with 63 to go, but he gets passed up right there. These guys will unlap themselves, and Nolan will come to pit road here on lap 72. Patty starts to drive away, 62 to go at the Kansas Speedway. Patty over Little, over Woodby. Then it's Watkins, Hayden, Eldred, Modesty, Beauchamp, Trailer, who we saw have the incident on pit road, Bourbonier, Fitzmaurice, Catrone, Rasick. Those are your lead lap cars. Got a battle for second starting to brew. Clinton Woodby, I think, is at least the second best car on the racetrack. He might have something for Ryan Patty. He's definitely been the closest. .62 laps to go with the line. Again, this one's going to go awfully quickly. The rate they're going right now, running 32nd lap times. This one not too terribly far from open. Fastest car on track that time was actually Harold Watkins, but not gaining as much now. Little under fire from Woodby. This will be for second. 61 to go at the line. That time by Watkins, still faster, but only by a 10th. Rusty Modesty faster in the leader as well, 10th and a half. It would be right in the back bumper of Andrew Little. He's going to have to make this quick if he wants any shot at the win. Out of the inside, Little down to block. Would be within a half a car length, maybe less than that. 60 to go at the line. Patty continues to lead, although it's not by much. It's not been able to pull away from these guys yet. Little continues to aero block the 92 of Woodby a little bit, though, and that's stopped up his advance. Trying to get forward to have a chance at the victory. Harold Watkins running his best laps of the race right now. His 30:11 a moment ago was his best lap of the race, and that time he was 0.3 faster than the leader, Ryan Patty. Mile and a half ringer, if you will, and Harold Watkins, a guy who is so fast on these types of tracks. All of a sudden, he's only 1.2 seconds back. Ryan Patty continuing to lead the way. Little is driven away from Clinton Woodby a little bit, but Harold Watkins is working into the picture. 2.5 tenths faster than the leader, 3 tenths faster than second place Andrew Little, and 3.5 tenths faster than third place Clinton Woodby. Harold Watkins is coming. A hurricane warning in effect for Kansas Speedway now. .57 to go at the line. 78 on the board. So long ways to go. Probably still a pit stop to negotiate. Watkins attacks Woodby. This is for third. He's going to have to make these passes quick, but if he can get some clean air in second, this could get very interesting for Ryan Patty as he tries to lock up a win. Woodby to the fence. Watkins to the bottom. Big drive, big arc through turns 1 and 2 to power move and move him to third. Watkins is on the move. Now, how much stuff is he saving right now? We don't really know. He was not quite as fast the last time around compared to the race leader. He was still about a tenth faster, but that's about it. Now, granted, he did get into some dirty air wash there off the back of Clinton Woodby and still continues to pick up time. It's going to be under a second. He's half a tenth faster than Patty. He's got Andrew Little to negotiate now. 55 to go. Patty leads, but Harold Watkins is the man to watch. By the way, Matt Hayden is up to the 5th spot. The run for the Oakley Chevy is brewing there as well, one that he needs this week. Off turn 4 again. Patty continues to lead, but we are watching the developing battle for second as Harold Watkins runs the best laps on track. Patty last time 30.98. Watkins last time 30.76. Would be a 30.67, so he's even faster now. Was he saving? To the inside comes Woodby. Has to lift out of it. There's Watkins covers. And resets to try to battle against Andrew Little. You wonder now if Watkins, did he burn up his stuff a little early in the run, or is he just regrouping? 53 to go. Andrew Little still runs second, is still in it, although they are losing a little bit of time to Ryan Petty, not a ton. Kind of plateaued it over the past 10 laps or so. I think Harold Watkins is the best car beyond Ryan Petty, at least in this point in the race. 52 to go. Still expect a likely pit stop to be coming at some point. The remainder of this race. Only a 55% fuel load to me means that we will see another pit cycle. In fact, it guarantees we'll see another pit cycle, at least one, if not two. Just keep that in mind as well. Pit strategy could still play a part in this race also. Watkins leans inside for second. If he gets to second, buckle up, because this is going to be a battle. He's got to get out of this dirty air from behind the 68 of Little. Little runs the middle. Watkins drifts all the way down to the bottom. This is exactly what he wanted, be able to rotate that car through the center. Almost gets alongside Andrew Little off turn 2. He's hounding him for the second spot. Little down a block this time, although no, now he stays up and Watkins rotates the middle of the corner again. Can he get to his left rear? He can. For second, Harold Watkins to the inside. Drag race down the front stretch. He'll have to arc it here into turn 1, try to carry the momentum as we've seen guys do throughout the race. He will do just that. Little trying to go all the way to the top, trying to get the rim run, the defensive line, not going to work. Watkins powers on his nose. Little does not lift out of the cast, instead takes the run to the bottom. Watkins will pinch him down here into turn 3. Little trying to rotate the center of turns 3 and 4. Watkins trying to get the rim run off turn 4, gets a little bit too close to the sun and gets the wall, then gets into Andrew Little. And that is going to hurt both of those cars and the would-be car behind them. They all three lose ground. Little back to the inside. Pinched down again by Watkins. Now Little drifts up a little bit. Would-be thought about 3 wide. Instead will just attack Little for third. All right, now Watkins can reset and focus forward. Would-be, by the way, to the inside of Andrew Little. That is for third, just behind the 3. He's going to make the pass there off turn 4. Big move there for Would-be as he keeps himself alive in this. 48 laps to go. Again, we do still anticipate a pit stop. At some point in the remaining 48 laps of this race, we do anticipate another pit stop cycle. .47 to go here at the line. Ryan Patty continues to lead the way, but Harold Watkins is starting to chip away at the gap. 31.03 for Patty, 30.93 for Watkins, a tenth better. Plateaued over there in turns 1 and 2. Matt Hayden's fallen off of these guys, by the way. 3.8 seconds back of the leader. Mike Martino slow on the apron. He's coming to pit road. He is 7 laps down. Brendan Beauchamp, it appears, has called it a night as of lap 73. Martino is multiple laps down. Brian Cunningham still 2 laps down. 3 cars 1 lap down. Steve Potter, Ron Walters, and David Traylor, who got caught on that pit cycle when he crashed. Watkins has plateaued the gap, but that's as close as he can really get, is 1.1 seconds. He's not gained a lot. He's not lost anything either, though. Keep an eye on Watkins as we continue to work towards what we assume to be the last pit stop of the night. 44 to go at the line. Ryan Patty has caught some lap traffic. It's not appeared to affect him very much. It would be, by the way, started to run back down Watkins for second. 44 to go. Battle may be for second instead of the lead. Would be started to run the fence. Ryan Patty actually ran the fence right there. That's new. Patty's not really ventured off the bottom very much. They did it over there in turns 1 and 2. Let's go check on him again. In at 3 and 4, Ron Walters, the lap car right behind him, just went a second lap down, gets the wall. As Patty continues to lead with 43 laps to go in the race. Closing in on the 100 lap mark. This race has been green for a little while, since just after the start of stage 2. .42 to go for Patty. Really no battles to speak of on the racetrack. Everybody pretty spread out for the most part in this lead group. It may change here momentarily. Watkins and Woodby may be going to battle here momentarily. Woodby's closed back in. Still make some real progress. Go all the way to the fence again. Watkins has to run a bit of a different line there in 3 and 4 than he's been used to. And it got him, it bit him. But it bit Woodby as well, as he followed the 3 right in the wall. They battle the lap car of Ron Walters. Just letting Ryan Patty drive away at this point. 41 to go. Woodby back to the outside. They'll both clear Walters here. Woodby does get the big run this time by. Where does he take it? Back to the fence. Rather back to the outside. He's actually going to run the middle here in 3 and 4. Oh, that worked big time. Look at the rotation that Woodby got right there in the center. Although he tried to go to the outside of Watkins. He got a little bit arrow tight on exit. It did not work all the way down the front straightaway, but the outside. Woodby again going to get that big run down the back straightaway. See if he tries that kind of diamond effort here into 3. Let's see if he does that line again. No, this time he's going to dive it to the bottom. Watkins down to cover. Woodby's been able to rotate in this situation already tonight, but not able to get to Watkins' left rear that time by. They are both falling off the bumper of Ryan Patty, who's away by 1.6 seconds. Inside of 40 to go, make it 39 laps to go this time by. Watkins to the inside of Woodby to the rail run. Again, he'll get that big run down the back straight away. Watkins on the first seam, now drifts down to try to cover and put some dirty air on the front of that 92, the blue and yellow QH Studios Chevrolet. So Watkins arced all the way down. Woodby ran in on the bottom. Did not run the fence that time by. 38 laps to go. Ryan Patty by 1.6 seconds. Watkins to the first seam, now down to the paint. Woodby to the high rent district of the penthouse. Again, he will get this big rail run off turn 2. Again, he'll close to within 2, make it 1 car length on entry. Again, he'll drive it in kind of in the middle. Let's see if he rotates it to the bottom here in turns 3 and 4. He will. Not really having the same effect it did a little bit ago. Lap 98 on the board, 37 to go. This will definitely be the last pit stop of the race at this point, I would think. Once we get to it here. Now, curiously, Harold Watkins was awfully good on the opening about 12 laps of that stint. So my question would be, does he come a little bit early? Try to undercut the Ryan Patty car, knowing he's better on that 12 to 15 lap time range. Knowing that he's better, does he try to come early and bank a gap so that when Patty comes off pit road, say a lap or two later, maybe Watkins could be out front if he maintains this current gap, which is about 1.7, between 1.7 and 1.8 seconds. Watkins starting to drive away just a little bit will leave us with not much in the form of battles on the speedway right now. Ryan Patty continues to lead. 100 laps on the board, 35 to go last time by. Will tick over and become 34 laps to go at Kansas Speedway as Ryan Patty makes the journey back past the line. Again, we await what we assume to be the last pit stop of the night. Only a 55% fuel load in this Gen 7 race car. We do assume there is one more pit stop to go in this race. See when that pit stop is made. Patty got a little bit tight right there in turns 1 and 2. And pit stops are on. Rusty Modesty is on pit road, although that is way far back in the leader. And Patty may pit early here, and he's going to, and that's a big decision for Ryan Patty as he comes to pit road. Clinton Woodby looked like he might have been speeding, but he comes to pit road. Andrew Little is on pit road. Matt Hayden's on pit road. Harold Watkins, Cody Eldred both stay out. Fitzmaurice is on pit road. Steven Rasick would be the next car in line if he does choose to come to the pit lane. Here comes Watkins. Got to be quick on entry. Good on execution in the box. Good on execution on exit to be able to beat a guy like Ryan Patty. Not much saving, I'd imagine you'd see right here. Cody Eldred's on pit road this time. I would leave the onus to Steven Rasick. Greg Bourbonier and James Catrone is the only lead lap cars left to make pit stops. Rasick's going to do it here with 31 laps to go. Catrone is not. Bourbonier is. So Catrone will be the only car to stay on the speedway. Oh, wow. Watkins, a two-tire call. I wonder if Patty went with 2 as well. It does look that way, as Patty will bypass him, so they both go with 2. It's going to be a lot closer than I thought here, although now Patty blows right by him. Maybe all she wrote. James Catrone, 30 to go. And he inherits the lead. I remember Hunter Carlson pulled off a win here last year on some crazy fuel strategy. Wonder if Catrone's trying that. 30 to go. It's a long way to try to negotiate. And Catrone will come to pit road right here. No strategy call tonight. And now with 29 to go, that puts it back in the hands of the Fast House Chevrolet looking for redemption. 29 to go. Watkins is second back. Got to run his best laps of the race to even get there, let alone make the pass. Patty looking for win number 3. Watkins looking for win number 2. Of course, Watkins capturing the win. Earlier on in the season at Coda. Ryan Patty's 2 wins, Phoenix and Darlington. Watkins is closing. He's actually closed this by about 3/10 and is only 6/10 back of the leader. But is he burning his equipment too early? It's the same kind of song and verse we saw last run. He's 3/10 faster right now, but will that stick throughout the rest of the race? 26 to go at the line. The home stretch run for Ryan Patty. But Watkins is within half a second. This is not over, folks. Harold Watkins. It's been an abnormally long time since the 3's gone to victory lane. He won 10 races over the course of 2 seasons in 2025. The Season 2 champ wants to put himself back in victory lane for the first time in 6 weeks. Less than half a second between the 2 leaders. Andrew Little's not technically out of this thing either. Only a second back. Running some of his best laps of the race right now. In fact, a 10th faster than the leader last time by. You wonder if he's the first car on 4. 2 leaders took 2. Maybe he took 2, and perhaps he's just better. Big entry for Watkins right there. It's 3/10 of a second. It's 5 car lengths. Mano-a-mano battle for the win in the Heartland. 24 to go. Patty's looked untouchable tonight. He has looked untouchable until this moment right here, as Harold Watkins runs some of his best laps of the race. Now Patty breaks even right there in turns 1 and 2. Next time by 23 to go. Patty works all the way down to the bottom side. Watkins a little bit later arc down into the corner. Gonna lose him some time on entry, and now he starts to lose a little bit on exit too. I think the aero wash combined with some equipment loss has started to kick in for Harold Watkins. Although he battles back on exit a little bit, gains a little bit of time, drafts up just a tad. We'll try it again here in turns 1 and 2. Any dice for Watkins here? Yes, a little bit. Not huge gains, but gains nonetheless. And the closer you get in draft range, the more you can suck to the back of the car in front of you and potentially make a pass. Man, Patty is so good over here in turns 3 and 4. Gained a 10th and a half right there on Watkins. 22 to go. Watkins still in his tire tracks. 4/10 the gap. 8/10 back to Andrew Little, who is in the catbird seat if something happens to these 2 cars. Now Watkins loses big in 1 and 2. Maybe all she wrote right there for Harold Watkins. We'll see, although he does gain a little bit on the back straightaway there. Patty continues to lead. Little is within 8/10 now. He's not out of this thing either. Oh, big hit to the wall right there for Patty. He got it in a big way. A mistake. 21 to go. Watkins closes up. Little closes up. Watkins up to the middle. Trying to experiment. What can he find? Can he find anything up there? Breaks even in turns 1 and 2. Now starts to gain again. The points leader, the most dominant car of the year, against the guy who produced the most dominant league season I've ever seen in Harold Watkins. Both winners on mile and a halves. Both last year and this year. Does Watkins have one more comeback in him tonight? Breaks even again there down the back straightaway. Still within 3/10. That's as close as he's been able to get. 20 laps to go. Make it 19 at the line. Man, Patty, again, another big drive through 3 and 4, although he did not gain quite as much as I thought he would. Breaks even. Watkins trying to get there. 19 to go. Moves up a little bit more. Kind of curious. Watkins up just a tad more there. Trying to search around and get out of the dirty air off the back of Patty's car. Did not gain him very much, though. Ran in right in the dirty air that time and loses quite a bit in 3 and 4, though gains it back on exit. In typical Harold Watkins fashion. He's always had a knack for finding speed on one end or the other of the corner, either being really good on entry or really good on exit. It's the latter tonight. I just don't think they're going to get close enough. They're able to get within arm's reach, but that's as close as either car has been able to get Watkins or Little, and even Clinton Woodby earlier. Just don't think they're going to quite get close enough. Off turn 4. 17 to go. Can Ryan Patty close the deal for win number 3, or will Harold Watkins play spoiler? Pretty good turn 1 that time for the 3. Even better turn 1 for Andrew Little, by the way, from 3rd. Back to 6/10 for him. Watkins, it's over here in 3 and 4 that he really loses a lot of his time. Anything he gains on the other end of the racetrack, he loses on this end, and he lost it again right there. At the line, it'll be 15 to go, and now Watkins appears to be out of steam. He drops time there again, a couple of tenths. And he might have one more run. Or perhaps Patty was toying with his food. With 15 laps to go, Patty starts to set sail. Another tenth there for Watkins that he lost. Now Watkins goes to the fence trying to find anything that he can, and that really did not work. In fact, that brings Andrew Little to his back bumper, and now Watkins may not even run second. $13 to go. Oh, Little got in the arrow wash there on entry behind Watkins, so Watkins trying to run the fence here late run, trying to find something to get back to Ryan Patty. Patty continues to run the bottom. Watkins is going to go right back to it here in 3 and 4. $12 to go. Clinton would be starting to slowly close in. I'm not sure he's got enough laps to get to the two cars running second and third, but Watkins another 10th. Little lost another one as well. This could get interesting. Steve Potter runs right in the line of Ryan Patty. Doesn't seem to affect the 30 much, though. 11 to go. Closing stages at Kansas. Final few moments of this one. Patty moves to the fence now. Trying to get a lot around the lap car. Steve Potter. He'll do so. Little trying to cross over for second. That actually is going to be a battle here down into turn 3. Andrew Little trying to get P2 away from Harold Watkins. He runs up the hill. Little powers by on the inside. Now Andrew Little moves to second. Again, I don't think Woodby's going to get to either of those cars, so that may have just been a flip-flop for second and third. 10 laps to go. Next time by, it ticks to single digits. Patty back to the bottom. Little a second back, trying to make a late rally. He's gotten around Watkins now, but I don't think he has anything for the 30. 9 laps to go. It's ticked to single digits. Ryan Patty trying to ride into the sunset into win number 3, but Andrew Little, running the fence, starts to cut into the gap. Ran an even lap time last time by, but is cutting the gap down. It's not by much, but it is a little bit. Time by again a few hundredths faster. It's not enough to get all the way to the leader, but he might get close. Not enough laps at the pace he's currently running to get all the way to the race leader. 7 laps to go. Everybody from Jimmy Fitzmaurice on back, by the way, is now a lap down after that last pit cycle. Rusty Modesty is the last car on the lead lap. 7 to go. Patty, Little, Watkins, Woodby, Hayden, the top 5. Matt Hayden plus 12 is going to end up being the biggest mover if nothing else happens in this race. 6 laps remain. Patty continuing to pound out lap after lap after lap. That time again, just keeping pace with Andrew Little, just breaking even. It's going to be more than what he needs to hold on and take a 3rd trip to Challenger Cup Series victory lane. As he works off turn 4, he'll get the 5 off the flag stand from Barney the Flagman. 5 laps to go from Kansas Speedway. After caution-filled affairs at Martinsville and Bristol, having, I want to say 21 and 18 or somewhere in that range apiece, this one will likely end with 3 cautions. 1 for the stage, 2 for incident, all before lap 50. 4 to go. Ryan Patty's hoping it stays that way. It would be redemption for him, of course. Finished 4th at Martinsville, but ran out of gas. Could have very easily won that race. Could have very easily won Bristol. It could very well be that he would be on 3 straight wins, counting tonight. A bad night at Bristol, but tonight has been about as picture perfect as it gets. Especially with David Traylor having a derailment to his night. He'll likely finish outside the top 10 as they run, which would widen the points lead for Ryan Patty to a near insurmountable number with only 5 weeks to go. 3 more for the Fast House Chevrolet. At Kansas Speedway, he'll get popsicle sticks from Barney the Flagman. Next time by to signify 2 laps to go. If he gets to the white flag, this race will be official, and he has driven away now from Andrew Little. 4 more tenths added onto the lead. Harold Watkins actually is going to be caught by Clinton Woodby. This will be a battle for the 3rd spot. So the final podium position's up for grabs. Woodby's there. Trying to cross over. Watkins trying to throw the block. Woodby to the outside. Watkins blocks to the fence. Oh, Watkins too close to the sun. Nearly got the wall. Woodby turns left down the hill. He'll get alongside Watkins for 3rd. Trying to watch the ending of this battle. Woodby's going to drive in deep to turn 3. Watkins drives in deep with him. Woodby throws the slider and clears him. Up front, white flag. 1 lap to go. A couple of off weeks at the short tracks, but it did not change the dominance. I said last year when this man entered the Challenger Cup Series that he would be a championship contender in 2026. As he works into turn 3, this is what we've become accustomed to with Ryan Patty. When he wins big. Dominance in the Heartland. Ryan Patty, the first 3-time winner of 2026, he wins at Kansas. He'll get the donuts here off turn 4 momentarily. He is your winner on the Kansas Speedway, and instead of a victory tap, although maybe what that was supposed to be. Got a victory hook there from Clinton Woodby. Get the car back in gear. Working around. Angel Little, Clinton Woodby round out the podium. Good run for Harold Watkins in 4th. Matt Hayden, a well-needed run for him in the 5th spot as well. But guess who? Ryan Patty returns to his old ways, dominates, the first 3-time winner of 2026. He'll do the donuts on the front stretch in Kansas. He'll park on the front stretch as he completes his victory celebration, and that will send us into the finishing results from Kansas right before we get into some top 3 interviews. Ryan Patty wins over Andrew Little and Clinton Woodby in the 3rd spot. That's your podium drivers that we'll talk to here in just a moment. Harold Watkins goes 4th, and Matt Hayden completes the top 5. Cody Eldred in the 6th spot. Rusty Modesty back in 7th. Stephen Rasick, great run for him in the 8th spot. Same for Jimmy Fitzmaurice in 9th. Jesse Nolan earns a top 10 in his first series start. Greg Bourbonier goes 11th with James Catrone in 12th. David Traylor, that's not the points night that he needed to keep up with Ryan Patty. He'll finish 13th tonight after the spin, getting onto pit road earlier in the race. Steve Potter in 14th. Ron Walters in 15th. Brian Cunningham 16th. Brandon Beauchamp was just not meant to be for the 15 tonight after his best qualifying effort of the season. And Mike Martino rounds out the field in 18th position. Well, we will talk first to the man in Challenger Cup Series victory lane for the first time, or rather for the 3rd time this year, but for the first time since Darlington earlier on in the season. Of course, a couple of weeks it did not go his way over the course of the last couple of races. Tonight, though, back to business for Ryan Patty. He is your winner from Kansas. He's the man standing by in victory lane. Ryan, it's Dawson, the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Well, that's more like it after a couple of weeks in Martinsville and Bristol, both of which races you could have won, but something happened in the final little bit of the race to alter that result tonight. It looked at times like you were untouchable. What went into the prep for this week at Kansas that made that car so much faster than the rest of the field?
It's funny. This track, I was actually telling my wife earlier in the weekend that Kansas races always feel uncomfortable to me. I never quite feel like I'm comfortable with this track. For whatever reason, the front end just always feels numb. I can't, and I know you probably laugh and say, well, yeah, you didn't feel comfortable. You were the fastest car out there. But, I ran a league race on Sunday, had a top 5, felt okay. And then just hop back in. And I guess, putting in 100+ laps on Sunday was a good warm up for this. And, just had the speed and really it was a clean race, not a lot of, chaos around me. So I was able to get good clean laps in, and big benefit is taking the pole and having that clean air out front. I mean, that's, anyone will tell you that's key. It's just the clean air.
Well, clean air was king again tonight in Kansas, and, a return to normalcy on the 1.5 miles, so return to the dominance for you as well. You extend your points lead. Obviously, as we start to look forward, the chase coming up in 5 weeks from right now, rather 6 weeks from right now, do you feel like you can start to experiment a bit as the points lead grows? Do you feel like you can try some things that maybe we'll see you use during the chase when the points really come down to business?
Yeah, I mean, Maybe, but it's going to be real interesting here with the tracks in the chase. I was looking at the schedule, and we're going to be wrapping up with a track that's in Japan that I've never even set foot on virtually, and Sonoma, which is not one of my strong suits. So, we got Watkins Glen, which will be a little bit of road course practice, but very much not similar to Sonoma, and I might have to turn a couple laps at this Motegi circuit because I've never even heard of it really.
Well, looking forward to the weeks before the chase. Obviously, still got to lock up the regular season title and that coveted #1 seed for the chase with some bonus points to go along with it. But you talked about Watkins Glen, but it all starts next week in Talladega. We go plate racing again, and that's kind of the one thing we have yet to see you really conquer in this series. What's the game plan next week on the biggest and baddest track on the circuit as you look to add that to your list of wins on your resume?
Hope and a prayer, I guess. I mean, I have a feeling that winning races and having the point lead is not going to gain me a lot of help. I'm not going to have a lot of pushers that want to push me to a win. So, my goal will really be just to hang around the top 5, and hope for an opening at the end of the stage and end of the race. But that and not get into a wreck. So if we can do that, we'll be walking out of there happy.
Well, exactly what the doctor ordered for you tonight, a return to what we're used to seeing out of you this week in Kansas. So before we let you go and celebrate the win a little bit more, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, super happy to get the win here. Appreciate you in the booth, always putting on a good broadcast. It's fun to go back and watch every week, and hopefully we had some live viewers tonight. Thanks to everyone that puts on this league. They do a fantastic job with race control, with administration, obviously the broadcast and everything that goes in to support the drivers and make it entertaining. So appreciate all the guys that dedicate their time to this league. And as always, I love you to my family, and pretty sure my daughter's sleeping. She should be by now. And if my wife's watching, I love you and thank you for the support.
Ryan, thanks for your time. Congratulations on the win tonight in Kansas. Go enjoy it. Go celebrate. We'll see you next week in Talladega.
All right, sounds good. I think I just lost the motor, so no more burnouts.
Ryan Patty, the winner in Kansas. We see his motor expire there, sitting on the front stretch. But nonetheless, Ryan Patty, your winner from Kansas Speedway. Let's move now to the man who finished in second, and someone who made a dent in some of the point standings tonight after missing a race earlier in the season. Andrew Little was behind the 8 ball in terms of getting a better seed in the chase, but a second-place finish, some stage points, exactly what the doctor ordered for the 68 of Andrew Little. He goes second tonight in Kansas and just might put himself back in the conversation for a top 3 seed in this year's chase. Andrew, it's Dawson, the broadcast booth. You get a copy?
I got you, bud. How you doing?
Well, not too bad. Look, a bit of a wild start to this one, an early crash and some things that happened early in this race. We saw you get involved in that early crash, but it felt like as the night went on, the car got faster. What did you do throughout this race to adjust and gain pace since we got towards the end of this thing?
Oh, well, let me think about this. Well, overall, I was really surprised that the high line never ended up being super effective, even in the long run. I thought it was going to be stronger, but it didn't work out. And then I did my best under the first green flag stop to get a lap early and try to get around Ryan, because I think that clean air and that was going to be our only shot. And then I took 2 tires on the last stop, trying to do the same thing and just see if I could hold it. But it just wasn't enough. He was too strong with clean air, and and I think I actually ended up, might have been like with 15 laps to go, I started downshifting actually in the middle of the corner, and that really helped with rotation on corner exit. And I was real surprised like how it actually held, but I think the speed dropped enough where you could run 4th gear on corner exit, and it really helped keep me rotating out of 2 and out of 4. And I think that's what ended up probably saving a little tire for me on and able to get back past Harold.
Well, look, obviously we talk about the point standings, missing a race earlier in the season, but now, making a dent in the standings and really putting yourself back in the conversation for a top 3 seed in the chase, which with those bonus points could be the difference between contending for a championship and not doing so by the time we get to Sonoma in late June. knowing the tracks that are coming up, Talladega next week, Watkins Glen still on the horizon, a couple of other, crazy tracks. We saw what happened at Charlotte in last year's race in this time slot. So, knowing what lies ahead, what's the game plan for you to maximize your points and put yourself in a good spot come the first race of the Chase in Nashville?
I gotta kind of keep doing what I'm doing, but if I'm gonna give Ryan a real shot, it's gonna have to be, just that sheer pace, and same thing. It's like Harold's real fast too. Clinton and David are quick too. So it's just gonna be a matter of, keeping those guys in check or behind you, and and that's where it's going to really be. And then just trying to find a little bit of that extra something that Ryan's got in order to really kind of even compete here. So keep trying. I was pretty happy with how things ended up today. So I'll try it again next week, see what happens.
Well, second for you tonight in Kansas, though, is got to be what the doctor ordered. So before we let you go and enjoy this second place finish, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
I got to say hi to the family upstairs. Unfortunately, I got a little loud tonight, and I got the angry text message from the wife. So sorry about that, honey. So they're trying to sleep, and I must have been yelling like crazy. But overall, thanks to you and J-Dub doing a good job of race control. And, if you have any, you need something designed or engineered, check out Waterford Concepts on Facebook or Instagram. Shoot us an email at waterfordconcepts@gmail.com, and we'll see what we can do to help you out. So you guys have a good night.
Well, Andrew, thanks for talking to us. Congrats on the second place finish tonight. Go enjoy it. Go celebrate. We'll talk to you next week in Talladega.
All right, bud. Have a great night.
Andrew Little, second tonight in Kansas. For him, exactly what he needed in the point standings. Looking forward now on to the man who has been on the podium this year. Of course, won back at Daytona to open the season in his rookie campaign here in the Challenger Cup Series. Knowing what we have coming up next week, got to imagine a third place finish tonight in Kansas as he continues to get more competitive in this series on these types of tracks. Plate racing awaits for Clinton Woodby, our third place finisher tonight. We'll talk to him about that in his race tonight at Kansas as well. Clinton, it's Dawson, the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, bud.
Third for you tonight in Kansas. And, let's start with kind of getting more competitive on these types of tracks. We knew you had speed coming into tonight on the 1.5 miles, but tonight felt like a real breakout performance, at one point contending for the race lead and eventually the race win. Kind of what went into the prep for this week to put you in position for a top 3 finish?
I wish I could say I had some prep, but I was asleep till 5 minutes before qualifying, so I just got in and put 5 minutes of work into it. It kind of came in to me a little bit, about 25, 30 laps into it. I kind of figured out what I was doing wrong versus what I could do a little better. I still don't know what I could have done to get around Ryan, or I don't really know how I got around Harold at the end. Once I got within half a second of somebody, the turn in and on corner exit, it just had nothing. So I don't know, just started running to the top there once I seen Andrew get up there. So I think Harold only took 2 tires at the end though, so I think that's the only reason why I got around him.
Well, look, we've seen the steady improvement on the 1.5 this year, but next week we head back to obviously a type of racing that you know very well in this series already. A winner at Daytona earlier in the season. Talladega next week's the closest thing to it. What's the game plan to try to get win number 2 when we hit the high banks in eastern Alabama next week?
Yeah, we're just going to see who we can stick with, really. I'm sure there's going to be a group, 2 or 3 guys that seem to be faster than the rest of us or can stick together longer, so just going to have to stay out of trouble. I'll probably run in the back for 95% of the race in the last 10 laps, try to make some moves, but really most of the time during a restrictor plate track, well, I guess I'm old school, I'll keep calling them that. I just try to kind of figure out how long it takes a run to get started. Like if I'm in the back and I can just kind of figure out, okay, well, if I get this run and go with it, how far does it take me? So being in the back kind of has its perks. If the if the racing plays out to where you can kind of mess around and see what different strategies might play out.
It's third tonight for you in Kansas as we prep for more plate racing next week. Before we let you go and start to get ready for the High Banks of Talladega next week, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, shout out to my girlfriend Megan and Blair Peterson, the Winnipeg Diecast. Go get all your NASCAR memorabilia from him. And you for the broadcast and everybody for putting on the league. Appreciate everything.
I appreciate you for talking to us tonight. Congratulations on the third place run tonight in Kansas. Go enjoy it. Go celebrate. We'll see you next week in Talladega.
Yep, have a good one.
Clinton Woodby, third tonight from Kansas for him in the 92s. We get ready to head back to plate racing, something he knows very well in this series. We will start to wrap things up from the Kansas Speedway as race 9 is complete. The Challenger Cup Series, just 5 races remain in the Season 1 regular season before we set the field for the chase. The 5-race postseason here in the Challenger Cup Series. Only 10 races left in the season already. It's crazy to think we've come this far already. 9 down, 10 to go in this 19-race season. So much still on the line, though, for a lot of different drivers in terms of the points. We'll break down all those scenarios starting next week, and where better to go than Talladega Superspeedway. We'll get to that in just a second. First, let's tell you what's on tap the rest of the week. Tomorrow night, it's the Moonshiners Racing League and its GMD Janitorial Cup Series as they make a trip here to the Heartland and Kansas Speedway. Likely that I'll be on the call with Justin Prince tomorrow night on Precision Entertainment. That one will be a lot of fun here from the Kansas Speedway. Thursday night, PGR Intimidator Super Speedway Series returns for another edition. The ARCA Mini Series continues. Of course, PGR going with a bit of a different schedule here in Q2. ARCA at Atlanta will be this week's event, the third of 4 races in that ARCA Mini Championship season. Of course, ending with Talladega next Thursday night. So that is what's going on Thursday. On Friday, the Dega Pros Stars and Stripes Shootout Series returns for John Ward, along with the Midnight Racing League and its Contender Series, which goes live from Las Vegas this week. On Friday night, looking forward to that one. Go catch the finish of Noble Esports right now. It's another one of the promotions going on here in this new era, it seems, of money racing and where we have gone to. And then Monday night, the PGR Light Series returns for another event as we go O'Reilly Auto Parts Series racing at Daytona. Race 4 of the season goes on from Daytona International Speedway next Monday night. I'll be on track for that one. Not been the best start to the season for myself. Hoping to change my luck. We'll go to Daytona next week at the World Center of Racing. And then for Challenger Cup Series racing, we're back next Tuesday from the high banks of NASCAR's biggest and baddest track, my favorite circuit, Talladega Superspeedway. It's going to be an electric night of restrictor plate racing. Hope you will be back with us for that one next Tuesday night, 8:30 p.m. right here on PGR eSports. For tonight, though, it's time to bid you farewell from the American Heartland, as it was a relatively clean race, a return to normalcy for the Challenger Cup Series, as tonight it was another dominant win for the 30, the Fast House Chevy of Ryan Patty. He'll extend his points lead and look forward on to Talladega Superspeedway. For now, it's time to say farewell here from the banks of Kansas Speedway. It's on to plate racing next week, the next time you will see us. Check out all the PGR eSports coverage of all the various leagues and series, a couple of them going on right now on our main page. Like the stream if you haven't already. Subscribe to PGR eSports. Join this thing. We continue to build week after week. Come back and join us next week as well as we go racing from Eastern Alabama. It's time to say goodnight. Ryan Patty wins at Kansas. Congratulations to Ryan on his third win of 2026. You've been watching PGR eSports coverage of the Challenger Cup Series, part of the Challenger Racing League. Ryan Patty wins at Kansas. And next week, where better to go from here? Thanks so much for your attendance tonight. My name is Dawson Wise. Thank you so much for watching and joining in on the stream. Hope to see you back next week. Ryan Patty wins tonight, but next week we head to Talladega.